everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jayson.
And we are father
and son.
Jayson, today we're going to do another list instead of a review, and this one was Jayson's idea. What are we gonna talk about today, sir?
Today we're gonna do top 10 Power Rangers.
Top 10 Power Rangers. What are the criteria for this list, sir?
So basically it's characters, but not like, it's like specific, like Tommy White. Like you could put Tommy White and Tommy Green on the same list.
So that means that it is theoretically possible for half your list to be populated with Tommies.
Yeah.
So we're doing it sort of like the board game, right? Where you're looking at like colors of Rangers before you're just looking at specific characters. So we'll talk about the characters, of course, that factors into it, but we're probably, I would think, thinking about the superficial stuff as much as we're thinking about characterization, because let's face it, it's Power Rangers, not usually the most substantial characters in the world, with some exceptions here and there. And so I would assume that when you're making your list, you're thinking about like how cool suit designs are and power sets and things as much as you're thinking about like the characters themselves, right? No?
Yeah.
Or just how cool a character was in a particular show wearing a particular uniform, right?
Yeah. And there are some characters that I like more in some series than other series.
Oh, same here, absolutely. But I will say, I am, for my part, certainly looking at aesthetics to some degree with some of this. Like, I am so nostalgia-driven when it comes to Power Rangers. There's no way around it. And when you're, I think most of us adult Power Rangers fans have this. So, you know, I am story guy, I am character guy, but Power Rangers is a silly kid show, and it is, for me, as much about the coolness factor of the look of a thing, or maybe not as much, but pretty close. I gotta be honest with you, kid, before we get into this, I had a hard time making this list.
Really?
Yeah, I think I realized something about myself as I was jotting things down, putting this together. I'm not there for the Rangers when I'm watching Power Rangers. This would have been so much easier for me to make a definitive list if we'd been doing villains.
Yeah. And we could do that sometime too.
Cool.
We could do like a top 10 villains.
I think we should. Do you have that to any degree, or do you find yourself identifying more with Rangers? Because I find a lot of them to be, character-wise at least, somewhat interchangeable and real one-dimensional, and everybody knows this about Power Rangers. Here's the thing. Some of the later shows, especially the Disney seasons, are you looking at my list?
No.
Some of the, just direct line of sight to my list. Are you sure? Are you sure you weren't looking at my list?
No. I was not looking at it.
What's number 8? Oh, okay. But anyway, the difficulty for me is, excuse me, I know that some of the Rangers in the later seasons, in the Disney seasons, are a little bit smarter written and a little more interesting, and I don't know those shows well enough to put a lot of them on my list. So there's a little bit of that here, but like I don't know SPD well enough to use any of those characters, and I wish I did, because I'm sure one of them would be there. And so I'm real limited in this. Jayson's list will be more interesting and more well-informed than my list. So you guys are going to find yourselves more here for Jayson than you are for me. I'll just be over here in the corner, occasionally throwing out a color and a character name, and we'll move on.
So I actually, there were a few characters that I was like, should I put this on my list? Should I not put this on my list?
Yeah.
Should I put this instead of another character that is from the same series? This should have like the same like number on the list.
Yeah.
Or should I just put it as a runners up?
Like it deserves the same weight, yeah. So you had it. So this is harder for you the other way. There were too many options.
There are too many.
Obviously, I mean, there's 25 years of Power Rangers. There's a ton of stuff to choose from.
So I have a question.
Not that there's that many sets of Rangers, because we've got seasons with, we've got shows with double seasons, and Mighty Morphin, which had 3, and did have some newly populated Rangers later, but it is several seasons of the same show. What's up?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you put anything from after RPM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I did. Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I only put like a couple.
I only did one of those. I'm curious to see if we have the same one.
I put one.
I think it's possible we picked the same one, because I don't like Neo Saban, but there was one guy that I could not help but put on my list.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you want to know the cheat I almost made? And then I decided that this would be lame, or maybe just cheating, so I didn't do it. I almost put Red Zordon from 2017.
Really?
Yeah, but he's only in one scene in that
He's
suit.
in one scene, yeah.
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 But I wanted to say Bryan Cranston as a Red Ranger for the, 25 seconds we get to see that.
Yeah.
But I felt like that would be unfair, so I didn't do that.
Yeah. And I do have the limited pop of that.
Aren't those cool?
Yeah.
With the cracked helmets?
Yeah. Mostly.
Yeah, there was a 2-pack back when Toys R Us was still a thing here in the States. I realize Canada still has it, but we don't. Where they used to do a lot of exclusive pops, of course, and exclusive other stuff. And Toys R Us had a 2-pack that gave you a cracked visor Rita and a cracked visor Zordon, and it was Rita as the Red Ranger and Zordon as the did I say Green Ranger? Yeah. Rita as the Green Ranger, Zordon as the Red Ranger. And it was cool.
You said Rita is the Red Ranger.
Yeah, I was trying to correct myself, and I was like, did I say that wrong? Anyway, yeah. It's early in the day. I'm still looking up.
But
should we go ahead and get started, or is
yeah,
there any more
let's just get started.
preamble you really want to do? Now, we didn't have a big long discussion before we came up with this. We kind of just said, let's do top 10 Rangers, and then we kind of ran off. You didn't do any exclusive comic stuff, did you?
No.
Okay, I didn't either.
No.
I considered it, and then I figured you weren't doing that. So we're keeping this. We didn't even do this on purpose, but we're keeping this strictly TV shows.
Like I wasn't
right?
doing, yeah. I didn't do any like Rebel Ranger Slayer or any like 1969 Rangers or anything.
See,
like that.
I thought about 1969 Rangers,
Yeah.
but I decided against it. And we're talking just good guy Power
just
Rangers.
good guy Power Rangers.
Yeah, so you can't say like a Psycho Ranger.
No.
Or
I
anything
was
like that.
thinking like.
Because we're not doing bad guys.
Are we? Yeah, but we're not doing bad guys, so.
But if we do a villain one, you could totally
do.
go to Psycho Rangers for that.
Yeah.
Okay. We should do a follow-up to this and do villains, because I think that would
Yeah.
be more fun. I think we'll also see more crossover on our list, just because there's fewer to choose from.
Yeah. And we might see crossover.
I think we will.
We might even get the same first.
You think so?
I think we might.
I don't think we will.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm just gonna say, I know it's a ranger you like.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I would bet you money that it's not the same. But well, it could be. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go down. So we're not going to do this like we did video games where we're guessing at each other's lists. We'll just go down the list this time. And why don't you start, man? Give us your number 10.
I'll start. So my number 10 is Space Blue, TJ.
Yeah.
So he's pretty cool. He was a Red Ranger in Turbo. I actually didn't put any Turbo on my list. You probably didn't either.
Shocker.
I actually second guessed maybe putting Justin on my list for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I mean, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
All right.
I did not put him on my list. But TJ is Blue
I'll argue
Ranger.
Justin's one of the better actors in his season.
Yeah. And he's a kid.
Isn't that surprising?
Yeah.
But I think his acting chops are as good or better than anybody there.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So he was Blue Ranger in space, and my favorite space episode is actually TJ's identity crisis, where he loses his memory and doesn't
I forgot all
remember
about
being
that.
a ranger. And then he sees a picture of the Rangers playing basketball together, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember these guys."
And then it all comes rushing back.
It's like Animorphs in the first Megamorphs, where he gets hit by a truck, and then he gets hit by a truck again, and then he remembers everything.
Is that Jake?
That was
it
Marco, I think.
Okay. We're going to do an
No,
Animorphs
it was
discussion.
Rachel. It was
Oh,
Rachel.
that's right. You said
Yeah.
he. No, you're right. It was Rachel.
It was Rachel, yeah.
We're going to do an Animorphs discussion at some point, too.
Yeah, probably. But yeah.
So what do you like about TJ?
So I don't know, like, he's just kind of cool. I think this is a character that I like better with his like weapon choice and stuff
Mm-hmm.
than like any of the other Rangers. Like I kind of just I like his suit, and I didn't really have a lot of other Blue Rangers on here, so and I thought TJ was my favorite Blue Ranger. So
I think it's interesting comparing TJ to Rocky.
to Rocky, yeah.
Because they both start out as Red Rangers, but curiously, TJ is the leader of his team when he first comes on. Because he comes on as Tommy is leaving, and so he's actually the leader of his team. And then when he goes to space, it's weird. Space almost has two leaders simultaneously. Like, I don't see Rocky as having ever really been a true leader of a team. He was always just kind of there.
He was just a Red Ranger.
He was, yeah, like, that was just arbitrarily the color that he ended up with, but he was never given the role of leader. He also never really seemed to be leader material. Like, he was just a total team player. And well, not just team player, but like, you know, follow the rules, real kind of by the numbers. And we would do episodes with Rocky about how he was kind of a people pleaser, and he wanted to be accepted, and he wanted to be loved, and he wasn't really a, you know, go-getter, like you know, get in front and try to get people to follow him. TJ was more that way.
Yeah.
And so isn't it kind of interesting, and I'm sure this wasn't by design, that Rocky comes on and he's the Red Ranger, but he's not the leader because you got Tommy and he's the White Ranger at that point. And then, or was he still green when he first came on?
No, he was white.
Was he already white?
He was
at the
white.
point that Rocky comes in?
Yeah, he's white by the time.
I couldn't remember where White Light falls in.
White Light falls before.
I thought Power Transfer was before that.
Mm-mm.
Are you sure? Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I trust your judgment on this more than mine because you've seen these more recently.
Well, remember Dead Waves?
Yeah.
That is the whole, like, the big thing in that is
Oh, is that before
Rocky
they get there?
and Adam and Kat saving the world, but not being Power Rangers yet? That was, like, the whole thing.
Well, not Kat. Kat's later, but you
Or
mean
not
Aisha.
Kat. Aisha,
yeah,
yeah.
Kimberly's there until middle of season 3.
Yeah.
Or, I guess, early 3.
And,
But anyway.
Kimberly faints.
So she does that a lot. So I'll go back. So let me finish my point real fast, which is so Rocky is Red Ranger but not a leader, and then he becomes the Blue Ranger in Zeo, and TJ is Red Ranger and leader, and then becomes Blue Ranger in space and is kind of the leader when Andros isn't around because Andros kind of runs off and does his own thing a lot.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
You have almost a co-leader situation in space. To my recollection, I've not watched through that show in a long time, and I say watch through it. I haven't seen a lot of episodes of that in a while, and I've never seen all of it. I've never watched all the way through space.
Oh.
I've seen a lot of it, but I've never watched all of it.
I have, of course.
Yeah. Jason knows this stuff way better than I do.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean, I don't really remember a lot because I went through the whole show, like everything up to RPM.
But we're talking a lot of this back when he was like 6 or 7. I mean,
Yeah.
It's been some years
When I was
now.
6, I was I was in Time Force, and then like it had been 5 years. I watched through all of it.
Were you in the middle of Time Force, or had you finished it when we went to Morphicon?
I was in the middle of it when
2016.
we went to Morphicon.
Okay.
And the reason I know that is because I told that to a lot of people.
That's a good pick. TJ did not make my list. I considered it,
Yeah.
but he just didn't quite get there. I like that. I don't know. It's weird. Like I forget his name. I like that actor as a guy. I think some of his line reading choices in that show are really strange here and there. Like I don't think he's a great actor, but he's got like an affect about him that's real different from anything else.
Yeah, and he wears a necklace, which is pretty cool.
Which is also interesting in comparing him to Rocky 2, because I also don't think Steve Cardenas is a great actor. But anyway, all right. So my number 10 is Devin from Beast Morphers.
Oh Oh, yeah.
I really like
Okay.
that guy.
Yep, we don't have the same.
We don't have the same Neo
Nope.
Saban stuff? Okay.
I mean, that's not Neo Saban.
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, no. Yeah.
In what way is it not Neo Saban? So Beast Morphers is on currently,
Right.
and it was being produced right before and then during the handover to Hasbro. And we are, in my mind, still in the Neo Saban era. Like, I need to see quite a bit of a difference in what the production looks like before I can say that we're in a different era now. Although maybe that era happens between seasons, because the only episode I've seen of season 2 I thought was abysmal. So
Didn't really like it.
the crossover I thought was terrible.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah. The whole thing with the
Oh,
dumb
you watched it?
Goldar thing, and no, Freddie watched it too.
It's really pretty bad.
really bad.
Yeah.
And
but,
Zed has a different voice.
and it's really generified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and-
Well, on Goldar too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Devin is just a real, genuine guy. Like, I think he's one of the best Power Rangers actors we've had in a long time. Just that actor. But I also thought that the situation with him was kind of interesting, where, like, his dad is the mayor, if memory serves. It's been a while since I watched that show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And he's got that kind of classic superhero thing where he's got to, go save the world behind his dad's back and not let his dad know that he's a Power Ranger. But his dad is involved in Morphex, in that company that is using the Morphin Grid in order to try to, power the city. And I don't know. I just really like him. He's another Red Ranger. He's another good kind of leader type. I've not seen a lot of that show. We reviewed the first 8, and I think I've seen a few episodes since then.
2 episodes.
Since they brought in the robot guy, who's basically just the Tick, which is hilarious. But yeah, I really like that guy's performance, if nothing else. And I love the suits in that show, and I think that suit looks best in red. But yeah, he's neat. I don't have a lot more to say because I haven't seen a ton of him, but he left a good impression on me.
Yeah. Wait.
I can't imagine. Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Lauren Sheba?
No.
Surely not.
No.
Okay.
Just met.
Then I can't imagine. What, are you changing your list?
No, I'm not. I'm adding a runner.
Yeah, you're adding a runner-up. Okay.
So my number 9.
Yeah.
Is Steel from Beast Morphers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
You
the
went
robot
there?
guy.
Because he's
Yeah.
the Tick.
Because he's the Tick. Yeah, he's like very like comic relief, and like he's this robot guy that got like, I don't even know what happened. Like he
Wasn't it a fusion with, like, Ravi's
Yeah.
brother's, like, soul or something?
what?
Am I right about that? Wasn't there something with, like, Ravi's brother that had to do with Steve? I forget.
No, it was.
No?
I think it was like built like, oh yeah, I remember.
Am I wrong?
So the Gold Ranger.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh, it wasn't Ravi. It was the goal. Okay.
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
But he had to build a robot,
Yeah.
and then he became a ranger, and his robot also became a ranger.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steel counts as a ranger,
Yeah,
even though he doesn't have to morph?
he does have to morph.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He looks different outside of Morph Room.
Does he look very much? It's been a while.
Not
I'm
very
forgetting.
different, but he does
So
look.
it's basically like Ninjor and then Ninjor Battle Mode?
Yeah, basically.
So, like, if you could consider Ninjor Battle
but they
mode a morph?
But they call him. But they call him the Silver Ranger.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. So yeah. So he does count.
he does
So did you just pick him because he's funny?
Yeah. Basically.
You like his look?
Mhm.
All right.
I like how he looks.
My number 8. Is that where we're at? Or
9.
Oh,
Nine.
we've only done. Wow. Okay. We should get rolling a little quicker on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I won't have a ton to say about my number 9. I couldn't help it. I picked Delphine. the white
Oh,
alien
the white
ranger.
alien ranger.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of his
The
of
Equation
her
Ranger.
name. I couldn't think of her name.
You could have looked it up.
Like,
This goes
I
on
know.
the internet.
I know. I looked a lot of them up, but
You didn't look that one up?
yeah, because I just
I picked Delphine based almost solely on her line delivery of its morphin time. Because it cracks me up every time. She has so much enthusiasm, it's ridiculous. It's morphin time! Morphin time! Yeah, morphin time! Yeah, it's so good. And it cracks me the heck up. And I love her. And I'm sure the fact that we met that actress and she's exactly like that in real life had nothing to do with it whatsoever. But it was
all
fun
those
to...
abilities.
But I don't know. It was cool to get like a female leader ranger. Of course, that was the first time we had that. But I'm not just picking her because she's the first female ranger. Like that's
Yeah.
that's whatever. If she sucked, she would. If I didn't like her, she would make it on the list. But it is cool that for the first time that we had a female lead, she was that enthusiastic and took that much charge and treated it like she was the main character of her own TV show, even though she totally wasn't.
Yeah.
And I love those suits.
Yeah, especially white.
I think when I was a kid, I also thought it was really cool that the White Ranger was the leader again. So, like, our Rangers turned into kids, and Tommy was the White Ranger. And then when we bring in... And this was just coincidence because of the Sentai footage they were using, from that other show. But it just turned out that their leader was also the White Ranger.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of fun when I was a kid.
Wasn't that, like, Ninja Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah. They look like ninjas.
What is your number 8?
My number 8 is Kendrix from Lost Galaxy.
She is way lower on your list than I expected.
Yeah, so...
When you were younger, God, you would not shut up about Kendrick.
And that's why I had to put her on my list. I don't know, like, what I liked so much about her, but, like, she's kind of your, like, Blue Ranger, but she's the Pink Ranger.
I was gonna say, maybe you liked the whole, like, nerdy chick
Yeah.
kind of vibe
And
from
I
her.
was so sad when they did Power of Pink.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah.
Oh, it's brutal, dude!
Yeah. And then she comes back as a ghost, and she, like... And then
Dude,
she becomes the Pink Ranger again.
I watched that
like, as a
finally.
ghost
So
or something.
that's Lost Galaxy. We're talking about the Return of the Psycho Rangers. It was a 2-parter. Power of Pink was the second part. It is the biggest downer I've probably ever seen in Power Rangers. I'd never seen it before. I practically teared up. It's freaking Power Rangers.
It's Power Rangers. And the whole thing with, like, the sword and, whatever her name is, tries to get the sword,
Yeah.
and she has, like, tears in her eyes.
Uh-huh.
Like, that was,
You
like...
think you're gonna get this, like, big fun epic crossover with the Space Rangers, and you do sort of get that, but it ends on this huge, sad, sour note where the Space Rangers just kind of, like, walk away with their heads bowed at the end, where it's like, we sort of lost this one, sorry you guys, and then like TJ kind of turns and like real quick just to be polite is like, okay, so bye you guys, like, sorry about all this, and obviously they care about each other, and they they don't want to just, like, leave without saying anything. But it looks like that's going to happen. They're just kind of walking away at the end.
Yeah.
God, that was tragic.
Yeah.
And Psycho Rangers is totally a thing to do something that tragic with.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's about the bleakest that space gets too, is with the Psycho Rangers. What do you say?
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of just carrying that bleakness over.
So you asked me...
I'm not saying that's the most tragic thing that happens in Power Rangers overall, but some of that stuff I haven't seen in a while, and I don't know, it's just in the moment I was like, God, this is like the saddest Power Ranger thing I've ever seen. Because I guess you have things like Magna Defender and stuff, but...
Yeah. So you asked me what your number 8 was, and I couldn't tell you. So what is it?
Oh, okay. I I think he's just pretending he doesn't know. I think he actually knows.
No, I
I
don't
think he glanced over and memorized my entire list.
Nope.
Okay. You know how we know that I'm wrong about this? I could show it to you now from this far away and you wouldn't be able to read it. Because I have the worst handwriting imaginable.
Yeah.
So if you glanced over and were trying to memorize it, you'd be like, I don't even know what any of that says.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Catherine Sutherland, the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I picked Cat.
I kept going.
Or is it Cat Hillard? I guess I'm saying the actress's name.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is it Hillard?
I think it's Hillard.
It's Hillard, yeah. I picked Cat.
So I kept going like, should I put Cat on my list? Should I put Cat on my list?
Yeah.
But I had like too many Pink Rangers on. I had like 2 Pink Rangers on already. So
This is the thing we have with the board game where we just can't stop picking Pink Rangers.
Yeah, Pink Rangers.
Because they had a lot of the best power sets in that game.
Oh,
and then
wow,
I start
have 3
going
pinks on
and then I start going, "Oh, wait a minute. I guess I really like a lot of the Pink Rangers."
Yeah, Pink Rangers are amazing.
I end up really liking Kimberly, especially by the end of that show and that performance, but Cat edges her out for me. She really does. I always thought that she was a better fit for Tommy. I don't know if people would agree with that. I mean, it's kind of funny that like Tommy rebounds with her, so like Kim leaves, and then there's the infamous Dear John letter, and then immediately he just goes to Cat, and that's. If you're reading between the lines, that looks kind of jerkish, or maybe not. I don't know, maybe not jerkish. Like he did get that letter. I guess he could move on, but I'm just saying it seems like he got over it real quick. But I always thought that they had a little bit more chemistry together. I don't know that anybody agrees with me on that.
I agree with you. Like, especially getting into Zio. That like really.
And maybe I'm nuts. But I also always thought that in some ways she was that was actually a little bit of an improvement over Green with Evil. Not that that's a better episode or anything, necessarily. When we bring her in as a cat, as an actual cat, and she's in evil minion of Rita's. But I like how she played evil.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. I thought the cat thing was really amusing. That she would, just kind of infiltrate as a cat.
And she was Cat.
A lot stealthier than Tommy. I thought the mystery was better. Like, people wouldn't necessarily guess that it was her, and they all seemed like idiots for not guessing that Tommy was the evil Green Ranger. I wish she'd gotten to actually be an evil Pink Ranger. I think that would have been really cool. But they didn't. It's not like they had the footage for it. They would have had to shoot everything. Although they were shooting a lot of stuff for that season. Because they were out of Sentai footage, so I guess they could have shot evil Pink Ranger stuff.
Yeah.
Or did they shoot nearly everything for that season, as far as the Ranger side goes? I forget,
Yeah.
but I think they must have shot most of it. But anyway, I don't know. But and again, some of that is nostalgia, but I always liked Cat a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say none of it has to do with the accent, but I think especially for Power Rangers, she was one of the better actors on that show too.
So 7?
7.
7. Okay. Wait, what's my 7 again? Oh yeah, Jen from Time Force.
Yeah. I knew that would be on your list.
Number Pink. No.
Number Pink.
Time Force Pink.
Yep.
But anyway, Time Force Pink. So I always liked Jen. She's like this really like serious Pink Ranger that has got a big gun and she
I like her for her big gun.
And she time travels a lot and she's super
that would
serious.
be the whole team. Right? No?
No, she's got a big gun.
No, I know, but
everyone else.
Doesn't the whole team time travel?
Yeah.
They're like, well, she time travels a lot, so she's my favorite. Isn't that the idea of that show?
But she time travels more than the other people. She's like a time traveler, I think.
Oh, okay.
She's like a time traveler. What the heck Did I just press?
I mean, she's the leader of that team, but I
Yeah.
don't know if she's a time traveler, but I just think
Which is pretty weird because like she's pink.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome.
And Wes isn't.
That's cool they did that.
And also, did you know that Sky's dad, Sky from SPD, he's the Blue Ranger, and he always wanted to be a Red Ranger because his dad was a Red Ranger. And we see a picture of his dad, and he's wearing a Time Force outfit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
But
cool.
it's not Wes. But he's wearing...
They did that kind of continuity stuff a lot around that era.
Yeah.
Because they also did that thing in Dino Thunder where Connor's got a twin brother that went to the academy. Because that guy played a guy who went to the academy in the previous season, and so then they just said that it was his brother. If memory serves, I think that's what happened with that. Yeah, I think the actress who plays Jen is awesome, and it had a lot of presence and like really fit into that leadership role. I also picked her for my number 7.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She's also on my list. I have not seen anything like enough of that show, obviously, but from what little I've seen, I have liked her too much not to put her on my list.
Yeah. So...
I have no insights, but I
of-
did pick her.
Kind of 6,
Yep.
basically. That was quick.
That was quick.
Okay, so...
We need to watch through that show together.
Yeah. We also need to watch through some Dino Thunder together.
We've done the whole show.
I know.
It's been a
But
long
I want to.
time.
I want to do it again.
You want to do it again?
Because
I've wanted to write about that show for a long time. I want to do a rewind on that. I've been trying to decide because I want to do overviews of Power Rangers past that first season. Because a couple years ago I did a video, and it was pretty well received. And I had a lot of fun making it. And I've wanted to do more, but I've been trying to decide if I do more, if I'm going to just jump around and do the seasons I really want to write about, or if I'm going to go, in order at least through the Mighty Morphin era. But I really want to do Dino Thunder, so I'm just trying to decide if I'm just going to skip around like I do with movies and just do the ones I want to do, because I could totally do that, and then maybe go back and do 2 and 3 later, because I think it would be kind of fun to write about season 3 at some point.
But I want to do that because my number
sure.
6
Sure.
is Kira, the Yellow Ranger.
Kira is my number 5. So
Oh,
we do have some crossover.
We do have some crossover.
I love Kira.
Yeah.
Kira is probably my favorite female ranger. I love her.
Not true for me.
Okay.
But she is.
Well, you've got a lot of ladies on your list.
I do. Probably like more than half.
And I like Kira even despite freak you out.
No, actually, I have more men than women on mine.
Do you?
Yeah.
But you probably have more women than I do. I would imagine.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have, like,
so why didn't you put Kira on your list? Let's talk about her.
She's the only girl on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And she...
So by default, that makes her your favorite.
Yeah. Because there's no Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
But she...
Which is cool, man. I love that 3-man team. That's really cool. And I mean, it becomes a 4-man team with Tommy, but he's much more of a
And a 5-man
loner.
team with Trent.
Yes. Isn't that cool? That like they don't have a 6th Ranger, they have a 5th Ranger.
And a 4th
But
Ranger.
their 4th Ranger is treated almost like a 6th Ranger in a way also.
In a way, yeah.
It never gets to 6, so it's working its way toward the initial count that you usually get at the beginning of a show. It's so good.
But yeah, she's a girl and she's sassy.
Yes,
and
I was gonna say that.
She sings a lot and she likes to go shopping and I don't know, she's just like she would be a good person even if she wasn't a ranger.
She's just really spunky and sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I always saw her as a potential leader eventually in her own right, but that show really nails, as well as Power Rangers ever does, what teenagers are like, I think, where you get the sense that none of them have fully 100% completely found themselves yet, and there's still some immaturity, and you see them actually mature and grow throughout the show because of their relationships with each other, and see, this is a show I can actually talk about.
And then also
and
with SPD.
And because of their being being Power Rangers. Yeah, and then when you get the SPD, you
They're
see that
like-
they've really grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's a lot of fun, and again, that actress is pretty good. She wanted to be kind of like Amy Jo Johnson. She wanted to be a singer more than she wanted to be an actress. And she had something of a music career. Like, I don't know if her music did very well, but I know that she kept trying to make music after that.
Did she actually, like, do the Freak You Out? Like,
I don't know. I'm going to assume that her stuff was better than that, but I have no idea. But yeah, they were kind of making fun of that whole Avril Lavigne thing from that period, and she had the the real heavy makeup and all of that. I like the episode where she tries to become a pop star and then can't deal with the fact that they won't let her be herself, and she'd have to like completely lose her individuality and the sound that she really cares about, which is kind of amusing because her independent sound is like everything else on the radio right then. but I like the sentiment of it.
So what is your number 6?
My number 6, let me find it 1 second, is Andros.
Oh, wait.
Did you put Andros on your list?
Yes.
Oh, is he there?
Andros is Space Red.
He is Space Red, but what number is he on your...
He was number 3 on
Wow,
yeah.
he's that high up?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
that
well, you
high.
talk about Andros for a minute.
Okay, he has long hair.
See, I told you, it's really hard to talk about Power Rangers
Yeah.
without just talking about physical attributes. Describe this Power Ranger. Well, he's got weird hair, which tells you he's an alien.
Yeah, he's an alien.
From Knockout 35.
Yeah, from Knockout 35. You sunk my battleship.
He's from a planet called KO-35.
And he has a sister who's mind controlled to be the main bad guy of the series.
I wanted to pick her, but I just have not seen enough Lost Galaxy.
Coronia.
Yeah. And she's only a ranger for like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
They bring her in as a ranger at the end. But I think that's so freaking cool.
And she's Pink Ranger in Lost Galaxy. You just said that. And then
I sure did.
And Andros is very serious, and he's kind of like a cat.
Oh, interesting. I think they play him a little tongue-in-cheekish, or maybe it's just because of the performance, but he's supposed to be... This is what I like about Andros. He's supposed to be really mysterious, and like you said, really serious and stoic, and he's almost got, like... He's got almost like a Spock thing if he was, like, really cool and sort of rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Where, like, you take the edge of Kirk, but you give, like, the stoicism of Spock, and then you have Andros. But the way he plays it, it's a little hard to take him completely seriously. And I like the juxtaposition of that. It makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fun. It's almost like, in his world, he's the coolest, like, most badass thing there is. But me watching on the outside in, I'm like, nah, you're just another teenager, dude. Like...
Yeah. Wait, what number are we on? We're on 5.
Well, I just did my 6.
Yeah, you just did your 6.
So we should be on 5, yeah.
And you don't get to do your 5 because you already
my
did
5
my
was
5.
Kira, that's right.
Or you already did your 5.
Uh-huh.
Not my 5.
Which was your something else.
My number 5
Yes, sir.
is Tommy, the White Ranger.
White Ranger is my number 4.
Oh, wait. You put him over Black? Or did you
Well, we'll
put
just
both?
have to see. So why'd you put Tommy specifically in White Ranger form?
So I like White Ranger because he comes back and then Kimberly faints and I like how they've been working this together for in secret and
Or somehow Zordon can just make a ranger
yeah.
and they hand wave it away as that was really hard.
And then, but Zordon and that I guy,
That would
what's
be
his name?
Alpha 5. I 5.
Yeah, I forgot his name for some reason. I don't know why.
How did that happen? Okay, anyway.
But they made a White Ranger, and he's like Shira, like the Green Ranger, but he looks cooler, and he
yeah, that's like the biggest thing.
and
I've
he's
got
like
nostalgia
stronger.
From when I was a kid watching Power Rangers, because I came to Power Rangers a little bit late to the game, so I was post Green Ranger. I came in right at White Ranger, and then worked my way backwards and watched Green with Evil and some of the earlier stuff. And White Ranger was a big deal. Like, you weren't there. I know you know it's a big deal. You can't imagine how big of a deal that was.
That was a big deal.
Yeah. Just the look of that, and that Tommy came back, and that he wasn't gonna be like losing his powers all the time and jumping back and forth. Like, it's funny, they treat it real superficially like a big redemptive thing, even though Tommy was brainwashed and he didn't really have anything to feel bad about. But it's like, because you had evil, like, everything about that show was so superficial. It was like the powers themselves had to be redeemed, sort of, where it's like the Green Ranger powers were evil, and so he couldn't keep them, and he kept trying to use them as much as he could, but they were tainted. They were, you know, and so eventually he couldn't be a Ranger anymore, and then he had to, you know, be redeemed in the white light. Even though, again, Tommy himself didn't really do anything wrong, he was mind controlled.
And he has Saba.
Yes.
Which I would
He's
bring
got a
down
talking
right now,
sword.
but he's like
He's upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got to do 2 more in a row.
I always thought that Jason David Frank was at his best during that, because he got to be like the straight up leader, and it was all about him then. And obviously, Jason David Frank is maybe really likes being in that role. He's maybe a little bit full of himself, but I think that like helped him a lot in that role, and so he brought like so much more like energy and panache to it, I think, once he was the White Ranger. And you get into this era where it stops being so much about teamwork and starts being more about Tommy can fix everything. Like, it kind of became all about Tommy.
Yeah.
And so that's a thing I would throw at it as a criticism, but at the same time, I kind of enjoyed it for that, because I totally bought into that whole thing. I totally drank that Kool-Aid of, like, Tommy is the best thing ever. And so it's hard not to still feel that way a little bit, you know, from that period.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, a lot of it is the look.
And, like, that Sentai is from a different Sentai. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my number 4...
Well, hold on. Do I have to throw out a 5?
No. No, you don't. Because number 5 was your, Jen.
Was Kira.
Or Kira. And then your number 4 was White.
Oh, that's right. My number 4 was White. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My number 4...
That's what threw me off, though, was that we were getting to 4, but it was your turn. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Bridge from SPD.
Boy, Freddy. Jason's brother Freddy's obsessed with this character Bridge, who I've hardly ever seen because I've not watched that show.
So, Bridge is kind of the Axe from Animorphs of this show.
So is he another alien?
No.
Oh, okay.
But he, no one really understands what he's talking about.
When no one understands you.
But, like, and he just, everyone feels like he should, like, go to, like, a doctor or something. Like, and
what?
Everyone's like, no one really likes him, but he, like, makes no sense.
Okay, so, I'm sorry.
He's hilarious.
I'm sorry. What color is he?
Green.
What show is this?
SPD.
SPD, that's right.
SPD,
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. And everyone, and I feel like he should go to a psychiatrist.
So what, is he just nuts?
Yeah, he is crazy.
So he needs a shrink because he's... What's crazy about him? Like, does he just act silly, or is he, like, really full of himself? Is he a narcissist? Like...
No, he kind of... It's in the way he talks. nothing he says usually makes any sense.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay. You said that, but I wasn't sure what that meant. So you mean literally, it just doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense.
Is he also like the Tick? Not really.
Not really, but and everyone's and sometimes when he says things, is it Sky? No, not Sky. The Pink Ranger. I always forget the names of Pink Rangers, but she keeps she's like, I speak fluent bridge, so I know what he's saying.
That's funny. How did he get on the team?
Well, he had powers.
Okay. Because I know the SPD team that you follow is like the B team.
Yeah.
Isn't that show? Mm-hmm. Where it's like you're not following the Alpha Rangers?
Yeah.
But then naturally, like, something happens to them.
Yeah.
At some point in that show.
At the pilot.
Oh, is that where it is? I remember that about SPD, and I remember their Zordon is a dog face man.
Yeah.
And he gets a morph for like an episode.
No.
Oh, is it more than that? Oh, I'm thinking a cat. She gets a morph for one episode. Different cat. There's a cat character in that show who's actually a cat, like an anthropomorphized cat.
Who's basically the alpha? No, Boom is the alpha.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Cat's almost like another archetype that we start doing in the Disney era that we didn't have in Mighty Morphin. She's more like the guy or the girl in the chair, right? Sort of like the Felicity Smoke sort of character.
Sort of like Billy from Zeo.
Billy and Zeo, you're right.
Billy and
That's
Zeo.
where that archetype starts,
Yeah.
but not every show has to have one until the Disney era, and then we do start having one almost every show. Would you agree with that? Like, because Dino Thunder's got one too in Haley.
Yeah.
Like, Haley's that archetype.
Yeah.
RPM has one, I think. Like, it seems like they've all got one of those. Where there's like the brilliant computer hacker person. Sort of like the Oracle.
Yeah. I think it's been a while since I've done RPM. It's either the Zordon or it's like the...
Well, I was going to say, with RPM, is Dr. K that thing, or is Dr. K Zordon? Because I've not seen enough of that show.
I don't remember. That used to be like one of my favorite shows, and I forgot. Like Dr. K is like you think it's a computer, but spoiler alert, she's not.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds more like a Zordon.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So, oh, we already did my number 3. So your number 3.
My number 3 is Black Dino Thunder Tommy. I couldn't help but put Tommy on twice. It felt almost wrong of me to put Dino Thunder Black, but not the White Ranger version.
Yeah.
And if I had another one that just absolutely had to be on this list, I would have done that instead and just sacrificed White. But I didn't, so I didn't do that. At one point, while I was making my list, Jason, I thought I had 10, but I only had 9, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure the White Ranger's on there. So I did that. But yeah, I think Dino Thunder Black is one of the coolest Ranger designs, and Tommy was, of course, the reason I watched that show, and then I fell in love with pretty much everything else about that show. I love the reveal of when he gets his Dino Gem, and it has invisibility, and becomes a Ranger again, where he says, I might be old, but I can still pull it off. I love that. And then that joke at the end of the episode where he's got a big lack of black in his wardrobe. He's got to go out shopping, and I love how like tongue-in-cheek that show is about all of the Power Ranger tropes and cliches. It's a lot of fun. And I love his whole thing with Zeltrax, even though I don't love, ultimately, the reveal of who Zeltrax turns out to be because of what it was supposed to be, and it would have been so much more interesting. But Zeltrax is... Because you know about all that, right? Zeltrax was supposed to be Billy, gone evil.
Oh, really?
And then ultimately they didn't do it for whatever reason. I don't know if they just couldn't get, what's his name back? But,
something Cranston.
David Yost.
David Yost.
Yeah. No, Cranston's Billy's last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, David Yost.
David Yost.
I'm not sure what exactly the reason was. There were a couple big Mighty Morphin things that we were supposed to get reveals for in that. One of them was Kat and Tommy were supposed to be married, which they finally sort of did in a crossover a couple of years ago. That she comes in. That's where Evil Robot Tommy comes from, and it's terrible. But they were supposed to do that, and then Billy was supposed to turn out to be tragically turned evil and turned into Zeltrax, and it was Tommy's fault. And instead, they make up a character who was his lab assistant when he was creating the Dino Thunder Rangers, named Smitty.
Yep, Smitty. And they have a whole episode about that.
Yeah, and it's not great. That whole thing was a little bit unfortunate. I thought it was kind of lame. But up until then, I love his kind of Goldar-like relationship with Zeltrax. Zeltrax is one of my favorite villains. Certainly, probably my favorite, like right-hand man or minion.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was really fun just to get a Zordon and a Ranger simultaneously.
Yeah.
Where, like, he's not... It's sort of like the Andros situation where he's not really the leader of that team. Like, it's a team that he comes in and helps whenever they need him. So he gets to sort of be like a Sixth Ranger and their Zordon at the same time. I wouldn't say Andros is a mentor figure, certainly. But I just mean that it's similar in that you have, like, the team somewhat separate from... this other character that kind of comes in and out.
I thought he was, though. I thought Andros was the, like, Zordon.
Maybe he, at the end of the day, he kind of fills that role, but I don't think they treat him real mentor-like. What I mean is, a Zordon, like Zordon-type character, Tommy, Dr. Tommy Oliver in Dino Thunder is constantly, like, giving the Rangers advice, and he is teaching them from life experience. I don't know how much of that you got with Andros. He's a little bit more of a conflicted, kind of not totally sure of himself character because of what's going on with his sister. Like, he's got a big arc to go through himself, so it's not just about him teaching the Rangers anything. He's kind of a solo act who's sort of forced to work with a team, is the way I look at him.
Yeah. So
that's where that analogy breaks down. But anyway, I could talk about Dino Thunder Black all day. Number two.
Number two. So my number two is Kimberly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she made one of our lists. I felt kind of bad about leaving her off.
Were you expecting me to do something different?
I wasn't expecting Kimberly. I don't know what I was expecting. But I figured if you were going to... I'm surprised she's as high on our list as she... On your list, excuse me, as she is. And I'm surprised that she beats out Jen Scott's, especially that low. Where you put Jen.
Yeah.
I question your numbering, Jason.
No, I had to put Kimberly as second. Because,
all right, go ahead. Yeah, why?
I have always liked Kimberly from the start. From the pilot, and ever since, like, I just...
Oh, wow.
Really
was she, like, a big in for you for Power Rangers when you were younger?
Yeah, and,
because you've always really related to female heroes.
Yeah, and she was, like, she's a teenager, but she's also trying to, like, live her life as a teenager while also... living her life as a Power Ranger.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
she wants
kind of hard for her.
She wants a personal life. She wants a social life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the whole character arc with her, and yeah, I like the whole thing with her and Tommy. And the one thing that I don't like about Kimberly
is that she faints all the
for
time.
the third time is that she faints all the time.
And of course, that's pretty outmoded. You're not going to see that kind of thing in anything modern.
Yeah.
We're kind of past that.
We're kind of past fainting.
So when you say character arc, do you just mean that she kind of matures and grows as she goes along?
Yeah.
Because it opens with her pretty Valley Girl-ish.
Yeah.
We gotta get through this. I think Jason's starting to fade on us. Speaking of Jason, my number two is Mighty Morphin Red.
Wow.
Yeah. Jason was always my favorite Mighty Morphin Ranger until, well, I say always, I think he was my favorite character, but White Ranger was my favorite, like, design for a Ranger.
My favorite character was always Kimberly.
Yeah. But you like Jayson a lot too, right?
I do.
I like how, like, totally, like stalwart and heroic he always was, and how like really disciplined he was. He's like Batman and Superman all rolled into one, man. Like he's got that no nonsense discipline of Batman, but he's got that that morality of Superman, and of course he's a one-dimensional Power Ranger character for the most part, so that doesn't totally come from a lot of a place. When you go to the Go-Go comics, that's fleshed out a whole lot, and I love the idea there. This isn't the reason he's so high on my list, because we won't really go into comics, but I'll mention this. Jayson, I always really liked the idea in Go-Go that the reason that Jayson is so disciplined and he is always watching out for the little guy is because he was at one time a bully himself, and he doesn't want to be that way anymore.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I thought that was awesome.
I forgot about that.
You know, it's sort of like if Bulk became a Power Ranger. Sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought that, and this isn't just because he's the leader, like, Austin St. John, like, held that show together. Like, his performance was so totally genuine. It didn't matter how silly the monsters got, or how goofy the dialogue got. Like, I always bought his performance.
Yeah.
Like, it was like he fully understood it. He took it totally seriously. And it was like he got the goofiness of it, but the character was always playing it straight. I always really like that about it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Are we to number one?
Yeah, we're to number one.
Are you ready to just knock it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you thought we might have the same number one.
Yeah.
We don't, though, right?
We're still not certain.
Quick as lightning, strong as steel.
Watch out, danger. He is for real.
Really?
But I put Jayson.
And I put Trey of Triforia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, I mostly did that because I didn't want to double up again, and at the time that I wrote that, I thought I didn't have two Tommies, but then I ended up with two Tommies, so whatever. But I don't know, I almost want to say Jayson and Trey together. Like, I don't know, I think of Gold Ranger as one package.
I like Jayson more than Trey. I
love the idea of Trey.
Yeah.
I think the whole triple personality thing is so interesting.
But they're just they're too serious. Like, I like
they don't have a lot of personality, that's for sure.
But
yeah,
they have personality. Like, they're serious, but they're also silly at times. But Trey is just always serious. He doesn't have, like, he just always has a straight face, and he doesn't, like...
And Jayson really cuts loose.
Yeah.
When he gets in that role. And now he's just hanging out and doing his job.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's so much fun. I mean, I think of that as do-rag Jayson. Like, he's so much fun.
Yeah.
When you get into that. But yeah, for me, with Trey, it's the mythology thing. So, like, it's the look of the Gold Ranger, it's the way he moves, it's the staff, but that whole idea of, like, three parts of your personality that have to all be in perfect sync or you come apart, I always thought was a really interesting idea. I always liked everything in threes that all came with. So you got Trey, and he's from Triforia, and you got Pyramidas, and you know, so his, like, I thought they got really creative with the mythology that they were trying to create with what they were stuck with from the Sentai. Where, like, they were actually kind of thinking, you know, they looked at a pyramid and they went, we'll do this whole thing about threes. I thought that was really cool. But again, a lot of it is just the aesthetic and the feel. But that was absolutely my favorite Ranger, and that has never changed. I just love Gold Ranger. And the mystery there was pretty good.
Yeah.
Because they usually sucked at that, and people did not guess Jayson. And I talked about this on camera before.
Everyone guessed, like, Billy.
Well, Billy was the red herring. They played it up as Billy, and it was kind of... I don't know. There were some weird things about all of that, because they I won't get into it, but they cheated a little bit, because it was like, Billy's been running off. What's he been doing? And then ultimately it was like, I guess nothing. Like, I don't think we ever really found out what that was. And I don't know if they thought that Billy, like, ran off to another planet and then came back with a pyramid, because the pyramid came from another planet. So, it's weird they thought it was... Because it wasn't like they knew about Trey. If memory serves, it was like, we thought it was Billy the whole time? So it wasn't like, who was the Gold Ranger, like there was an alien and they knew about it, and then there was a person that was taking over. It was just, who was the Gold Ranger the whole time. So if memory serves, they don't find out about Trey until they find out about Jayson. So it wasn't, he's been the Gold Ranger the whole time. It's, they're bringing in Jayson to fill in for Trey because he can't be the Gold Ranger anymore. If memory serves, that's what that whole thing was.
Yeah, and it's been a while, for me.
So again, I've talked about this before, but do you remember the reason I knew it was Jayson when it was on, that I called it?
Mm-mm.
It was because of the advertising. Because they did a really good job in the show of not tipping their hand on that, and so nobody expected Jayson. Because this is a guy you never thought you'd see again, at least as a Ranger. He had just been in the Turbo movie, but there really wasn't any reason to suspect that he'd come back to the show, especially because he left over money reasons, and so it was a big deal when he came back. But I mean the actor Austin St. John. But in the advertising before the reveal, you could hear his distinct hi-yahs in the commercials. So it was like, oh, the Gold Ranger's going to end up being Jayson, and then it was Jayson, and I was really disappointed because I wanted to be surprised by that. So that was really funny. So we do have the same. I didn't know Gold was your favorite.
Yeah. I didn't really know either, like, until I made this list, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this as my number one. Like, I was like, Kimberly or Jayson Gold? Like, and I didn't even put Jayson Red on there. Like,
yeah, I noticed that.
Because I like Gold better than Red. And I didn't want to...
So again, is that because of, like, performance and characterization, or is it more just because of the suit?
I like the suit, but it's more about, like, characterization and performance. Yeah.
I think I still have one more Gold Ranger figure for the game to paint, if you want to help me paint it.
Okay.
You think it's too hard?
Yeah. So I have 5 runner-ups.
Okay, why don't we knock those out real quick?
And you probably don't have, like, any.
Because
you couldn't think of any.
I thought about putting Adam on the list.
Okay.
I will say that. I did kick that around.
So
Particularly, okay, if I'd put a Turbo Ranger on, it would have been Adam.
Adam Green
Yeah.
for Turbo, yeah.
Yeah, he's really fun in that show, and it kind of turns into his show for a while. Like, they make him almost the leader for a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah. During this weird period where Tommy's obsessed with race car driving.
What?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because him and Justin always, like, fix cars together and stuff.
Well, and there's several episodes in a row that just open with him either working on a car in his garage or driving around. It's like, you never had this interest before. And then DJ and I, doing Morphin Mania, had this joke. You remember that whole silly thing where Tommy and Mighty Morphin couldn't play football because he couldn't get his head out of martial arts? So whenever he would try to do anything other than martial arts, he would just turn into a martial arts stand. So we were just imagining him doing that while trying to drive a car. He's doing circles. He's like, oh no! Who are your runners-up, sir?
So probably like half of these you won't know, but.
Oh yeah.
So Trent from Dino Thunder.
Yeah, I considered that, but I didn't want to just
White.
Dino Thunder up my whole.
Yeah, I was thinking like either Kira or.
I
Trent.
like Ethan a lot too, man. Like I could have.
Yeah, I was between Kira and Trent, but I didn't have a Yellow Ranger on the list, and also I like Kira a little bit better than Trent. So.
I don't think I had a single Blue Ranger on my list, but you did.
Yeah, I did, because I
Because it was TJ.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
TJ.
Anyway.
And then.
You even had a Green Ranger on your list. Crazy.
Yeah, and I'm going to list a Green Ranger right now.
Do it.
Ziggy from RPM.
Okay.
He is another crazy, weird guy. That
See, I remember liking him,
was
but I've not seen
not,
enough of that show to list him.
Yeah. and he's kind of like Bridge, but he's like kind of weirder, but not like, yeah. I don't know how that guy became a ranger. Like, he's a ranger, and then he's like, yeah, I'm a ranger. Let's punch some guys. And
well, you don't choose them. They choose you.
God, choose them all. So, I don't know if this counts or not. Cat from SPD.
Yeah, and she's been showing up in everything.
In everything.
She got one episode where she morphed.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I kind of had to put that.
Dude, I'm surprised she's not in the board game yet.
Yeah.
But I bet if they do another Allies pack, we'll see her there.
Yeah.
Don't you
I mean,
figure?
we did see Kruger as in the Allies pack.
Yeah, and he's technically a ranger, so.
And they probably didn't I count her as a ranger because she's just appearing in everything, and so I was like.
Yeah, but you count Kruger as a ranger too, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is there's precedent to put a technical ranger in an Allies pack.
Yeah.
They won't leave her out necessarily just because she's a ranger.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think they would necessarily wait until you did an SPD pack before you saw her.
No, I wouldn't think she would appear in an SPD pack.
But they were probably thinking. Well, I mean, I could see it either way. I'm just saying if they really wanted to do her, they wouldn't have to wait. Because I'm with you. Were you about to say they probably didn't put her in there just because they already had Kruger and they didn't want to double up a series?
Yeah.
Because everything else in that is from other things,
what
right?
I want from
Magna Defender.
So what I want in an SPD pack
Yeah.
is if we went crazy, because there are a bunch of Rangers. We would put Omega Ranger in there. We would put that female Ranger, like Police Ranger, I think, from the end of that series in there. We would put the Cat Ranger. We would put the Orange Ranger from the Dream sequence in there.
And then we would hilariously have an unprecedented 2 Orange Rangers in the game.
Yeah, and
because we have the Skull Orange Ranger.
Because Bulk and Skull are dreams, that's from a Dream sequence.
That's from a Dream sequence, yeah.
And so, why couldn't they do the Boom Orange Ranger from the Dream sequence in one of my favorite episodes?
Yeah. They could.
They could. And then Kelsey from Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah,
She's the Yellow Ranger. She's the
I've
mountain
never seen that, but I remember you
climber,
talking about her.
Energetic girl.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then another Yellow Ranger. I don't know if you're gonna hate me for this or if you're gonna like my choice.
Okay.
Zoe from Beast Morphers.
She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like her for some reason.
No, cool.
she
Sure.
evolves. She's a laundry person, and then she wants to be bigger, and she's like.
I don't think that show has bad rangers.
Yeah.
And I like their bad guy rangers too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my favorite character in that is the bad guy Yellow Ranger.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. I probably put that in my top 10 bad guy list.
Well, let's do that soon, shall we?
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be a lot of fun. I think when we do villains, we should open it up to anything recurring that wasn't just a one-off monster. I also think just a monster list at some point could be fun, but I don't know if you can. I don't know how long of a podcast you'd get out of that. We might want to just tack that onto something.
Yeah.
At some point. Although, it seems like we can talk about anything for an hour.
Yeah.
But what do you think when we do that? I don't think it has to be just big bads. I think you should be able to count your Goldars and your Zeltraxes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, everybody, thanks a lot for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed our podcast on Top 10 Power Rangers. And if you are a Power Rangers fan, I don't know why you got this far if you're not, leave your comments and tell us who some of your favorite Rangers are and if any of them line up with us. And we will see you again next week with another Father and Son. I'm Captain Logan.
And I was Jayson.
And we are indeed Father
And Son.
Later, folks.